For me, shoes are the one thing that you never compromise on. Never. You can't have bad shoes.
Clothes are kind of like, they need matches to go with them, something, you know, they don't really, it's hard to even find a dress that really, really stands on its own, but shoes do.
Yeah.
I remember when paisleys were big, like in the 60s, and just being fascinated with mixing prints together, and corduroy, having like little baby corduroy pants and thinking those were the best thing in the world, and shoes, I was obsessed with shoes and go-go boots. And
I would say that, well, my interest in fashion, of course, began when I was really young. Like, I'd say I'd started getting really into it, like, started collecting vintage when I was about 10 years old. I felt so repressed by the public school how, like, they tried to make every kid the same, and if you didn't learn the same as everyone else, you had to go to, like, a special class. And growing up here, like, in hardcore suburbia, if you went to your friend's house, it would be like, every house looked the same. The best way to protect myself from that anger that I felt towards that was to sort of, like, retreat within myself and to create my own world. I just don't even go into wearing shoes to school. I was, like, sent to the office every day for the shoes I wore.
her principal was so indulgent of her. Because
Yeah,
I was
such a teacher's pet.
always having to trek up to the school to bring her a new pair of shoes. And so she would get sent to the office, and I would get the call.
Oh, Jane.
Oh, she
You shouldn't do that. The one pair of shoes that I never got in trouble for wearing were those black canvas street vendor sneaker wedges.
These.
Yeah. Those are pretty safe.
Next.
I was actually a model partway through high school, and I moved overseas when I was 18. I moved to Japan and started working for Folio agency there. It just opened up my mind to so much. I had never seen this type of design and the things that they were doing. It was really the height of popularity for all the Japanese designers and the early 80s, and
Right.
like
Yep.
Yamamoto, and you know, just to see that kind of avant-garde fashion and the deconstructed jackets and raw edges, it was inspiring.
But I think that you should always present your clothes that you really love in a way that, you know, pays respect to them. Like, I love the way that my mom has her closet. Like, it's like a, you know, it is like a museum of clothes.
And dog beds.
And dog beds.
This is the epitome to me of like what can make an outfit. It's got those great batwing sleeves and the really crisp lapels, and I have the satin has a little bit of wool in it, so it just makes it really nice. And I love these because of the back too. They have the little rhinestones, crystals.
My friend was an eBay find. My mom actually found it, and I think it was a birthday gift, but she knew that I loved Kansai Yamamoto, and he of course designed Ziggy Stardust costumes. So, I guess this is one of the more conservative pieces. You know, he was so mass produced. People think of him as like a one-of-a-kind designer, but he was actually really commercially successful, and he did lots of these sweater pieces. And I like this because it reminds me of some of what Prince used to wear a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely appreciate pieces with, you know, cultural value. And this is a huge piece of pop culture for me. Gosh, yeah. When I was first getting into fashion, I took my cues from Janet Jackson and Prince. And Kate Bush. I was into Kate Bush too. So, that was around when I was 10, and I listened to their music so much that seriously I couldn't listen to Prince or Kate Bush again until I was about 16. My style, I've never considered myself a very feminine person, but I just go for volume whenever I can. So, I have a petticoat underneath too.
You love petticoats.
I love petticoats. For me, the bigger, the more fabric, the better. I'm a maximalist, and I love things that put emphasis on the waist. I'm a waist person. I don't like to show my knees. Coco Chanel once said that knees are the ugliest part of the body, and I thought, that's so true. Aren't they sweet? I think we are one of the Neiman Marcus in Dallas is one of the few stores to carry this shoe. These are a piece of pop culture. I know. They look like a little cupcake, too. Well, this little bandana top is like what would you say?
The 70s. I would say the 70s.
70s.
I think
I
that's
got it
when we wore those.
in Tulsa, Oklahoma, 2 weekends ago. And that's one of my favorite places to shop. I got it at this vintage store called Silver Screen. And I love it because it has, you know, tutu underneath. And I'm all about petticoats and tutus. I have a big collection of them over at my dad's house. And these are my cap-toe satin Chanel pumps that I got as a gift when I had my fitting for the Creon Ball in Paris.
I am wearing a silk chiffon skirt that's probably from the 50s, purchased in Tulsa. And these are actually very old Kate Spade shoes that I love because they're flowered and they're fuchsia. But I like it because it kind of has that 50s look that goes with the skirt. So this is vintage Givenchy from the 60s. And it's like a very heavy wool, just a little trapeze, little shift dress, very simple, with heavy studding. These studs are before they made lightweight metal studs, and this dress actually like pulls on your shoulders. It's so heavy, but I love it. And I kind of like to wear it over jeans because I feel like, I don't know, there might be a pair of boots that I would wear it with and maybe some colored tights in the winter. And I love this shoe.
Yeah, they're amazing.
I love how it has kind of a, I don't know, kind of an animalistic look. It has almost kind of a hoof.
These are some high-waisted tuxedo pants that my mom actually got for me last year. They're super heavy. I'm all about clothes that have really heavy, well-made materials, and these are really, really heavy-duty. Wow. And this is a Dolce & Gabbana jacket that we got at Neiman Marcus when it went on sale.
At their outlet.
Yeah. We have great outlet sales in Texas. That's a great thing about living here.
These-
Well, when I went to the Creon Ball, I wore these with my YSL vintage knickerbockers that had like big bows at the ankles. And I loved that outfit. So I have special memories of these shoes. Because these are another pair of shoes. And I'm like, oh, they're so special. I shouldn't wear them very much.
One of the best sandals that Dre's ever put out. They're beautiful. They're all hand beaded. They have kind of an African vibe. Metal heel.
My friends were mortified to go out with me. I mean, they still are, but especially like in junior high, it was horrible. They were so embarrassed. I have two very good best friends, and they aren't into fashion at all. So this amazing '70s python jacket in
Swatch
Tulsa.
show too.
Yeah.
We haven't blogged it
craziest
yet.
Story, yeah. I'm not even gonna say what we spent for it, but it was like she might as well have given it to us for free. And I'm telling you, if Decades was selling it, it would have been like
2,000.
Oh, 3,000.
Or more, yeah.
And I love the thrill of find.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
When I first started collecting vintage, and when I used to go to the flea markets with my mom and my grandparents.
My parents are nuts. They're the most eccentric people in the world. They live in this huge rambling house and there's stuff everywhere, but then they have this thriving eBay business where they sell used cowboy boots. And my mom
They sound amazing.
also has a cooking site, and she's published 3 cookbooks, and she sells some cooking utensils. I'm a person that believes like it's this season, last season, out of season. You know, I always go back to visit a pair of shoes or like, you know, wearing old faded Levi's.
The same.
I got my first pair of Pradas. They were on sale. My mom got them for me as a birthday gift when I was 15, and they're right over there. Still, I honestly think they're some of my most beautiful shoes today.
I don't want to make myself sound like I'm an expert on fashion, but just watching her grasp of it from such an early age, it was just like she would talk about the collections, and it was with such depth and maturity, and I was just like, wow.
Well, one of the first things I think about when I think about the beginnings of my blog, there weren't a whole lot of blogs. I mean, that's the reason that my blog has ultimately been as successful as it has been, is because I started at just the right time. But to me, it was like the only way that I could think about blogging was to write it all out on a piece of paper and scan it. Like, it was so homegrown and organic. And I mean, I guess looking back, the way I went about it was really backwards, but I still feel nostalgic for those days when I used to like handwrite all of my posts. It's all very organic how it comes together for me. Like, I mean, obviously I have this correspondence with my mom where we're always talking about what's inspiring us, what we're going to look for next, what we want to go back and revisit. So the story just really comes together on its own, and I mean, it does reflect a lot of what's happening in my life and my travels. So it comes together very easily. You know, I think that in the end, personal style blogs will be very powerful things. I honestly do think they're going to evolve. It's totally organic, it's from the heart, and it's something that I feel very passionate about. And it is like, it's a raw art form. It's really like pure from the soul.